What if Gojo, the world's strongest sorcerer, became the vessel for Sukuna, the king of curses? Would Gojo's limitless power contain Sukuna's malice, or would his body become the perfect weapon of destruction? Today, we're diving into the wild possibilities of what could happen if Satoru Gojo, not Yuji Itadori, consumed Sukuna's fingers. In this video, I'll take you on an epic journey through 3 mind-blowing scenarios that explore the clash of ultimate power and ultimate evil, so stick around because you won't want to miss this. Well, the first question may arise in your mind: if Gojo ate Sukuna's fingers, what would happen to Yuji? Don't worry, my very first theory tries to explain this very situation of Yuji. If Gojo ate Sukuna's fingers instead of Yuji, Yuji's life would take a drastically different turn. The core of his character arc, which revolves around being Sukuna's vessel, would no longer exist. On one hand, this would strip away the immense burden and danger he constantly faces, but on the other hand, this will also remove the central element that drives his involvement in the Jujutsu world. I mean, think about it. Without Sukuna, Yuji would likely remain a talented but relatively ordinary fighter. I doubt that sorcerers like Gojo would even know his name. In the original timeline, much of his motivation comes from being the one responsible for containing Sukuna's evil. If that responsibility were removed, Yuji might struggle to find his place in the Jujutsu world. He might question whether he truly belongs among sorcerers who wield extraordinary abilities. So it's quite possible that he'd not join the world of JJK in the first place. I mean, think about it. Why would anybody risk his or her life for the sake of fighting evil spirits? But let's hypothetically imagine that Yuji still joins the JJK world without being the vessel of Sukuna. That would only be because of his strong moral compass and drive to help others. Without Sukuna as a constant threat, he might dedicate himself to becoming a protector in a different way. Gojo, recognizing Yuji's potential, could train him to master curse techniques, even without the aid of Sukuna's energy. This would transform Yuji into a more strategic and disciplined fighter, relying on hard work and ingenuity rather than supernatural power. On the flip side, Yuji's relationship would also evolve. His bond with Megumi and Nobara, forged through shared danger and responsibility, might deepen as they rally around a new common goal, supporting Gojo in containing Sukuna. Yuji could take on the role of emotional support and a moral anchor for his team, stepping up as a leader in his own right. Another intriguing possibility is that Yuji could become instrumental in finding a way to extract Sukuna from Gojo if Sukuna ever begins to overpower him. This would place Yuji in a unique position as a problem solver, shifting his arc from one of internal conflict to one of external action and innovation. In essence, losing Sukuna would strip away the immediate danger and moral conflict from Yuji's life, but open the door for him to grow in new and unexpected ways. He could become a symbol of perseverance, someone who proves that even without extraordinary power, sheer will and determination can shape destiny. Yuji's journey would no longer be about containing evil within himself, but about confronting it in the world, and in others, head-on. So that was the first of the 3 theories. Now let's move on to our next theory. This second theory suggests that if Gojo were to eat Sukuna's finger, there's a strong possibility that his body might reject Sukuna's essence entirely. This theory hinges on Gojo's unique physiology, overwhelming cursed energy, and mastery of the limitless technique, which might make him incompatible as a vessel for Sukuna. Gojo's body is unlike any other sorcerer's. His 6 eyes and mastery of limitless allow him to maintain near-perfect control over his cursed energy, resulting in an unmatched combination of precision, efficiency, and sheer power. In the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, Sukuna requires a compatible vessel to manifest. Yuji, for example, possesses the innate ability to host Sukuna's essence without being destroyed or corrupted. However, Gojo's physiology might be too perfect to allow Sukuna's cursed energy to take root. Instead of being a suitable host, Gojo's immense cursed energy reserves could overwhelm Sukuna's influence, neutralizing or rejecting the King of Curses entirely. This would prevent Sukuna from manifesting or even interacting with Gojo on a meaningful level. In the Jujutsu Kaisen anime and manga, Gojo's limitless technique consistently establishes barriers between him and external threats. For instance, his infinity keeps physical attacks and cursed techniques at bay, creating an insurmountable gap. If his limitless extends to his internal energy, it could create a similar barrier within his body, preventing Sukuna from embedding himself fully. Okay, if Gojo's body rejects Sukuna, what happens to the cursed energy within the finger? It's possible that Gojo's overwhelming energy could neutralize Sukuna's essence entirely. Cursed energy, when overpowered, can dissipate or become inert. This is evident in Gojo's fights, where he effortlessly neutralizes weaker opponents' cursed techniques by overwhelming them with raw power. For example, in the fight against Jogo's devastating volcanic attacks were rendered completely ineffective as Gojo's infinity nullifies any attempts to harm him. Gojo blocked these attacks effortlessly and overwhelmed Jogo with his raw cursed energy, showcasing the vast power gap between them. This highlights how Gojo's dominance can neutralize even powerful threats with ease. Alternatively, Gojo might physically expel the finger's energy from his body, treating it like a foreign contaminant. This would demonstrate Gojo's dominance as a sorcerer, proving that not even the King of Curses can overpower or coexist within his body. This scenario would emphasize Gojo's role as the strongest sorcerer, capable of subduing even the greatest threats without breaking a sweat. While this outcome highlights Gojo's strength, it also removes a significant layer of tension and conflict from the story. The dynamic of a vessel fighting against an internal evil, as seen with Yuji and Sukuna, would be absent. Gojo would remain untouchable, and Sukuna's narrative arc could be significantly diminished. In this scenario, Sukuna's fingers might lose their significance, as Gojo could simply neutralize or destroy them. The central plot of collecting Sukuna's fingers would become less urgent, and the focus might shift to other threats in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, such as Kenjaku or cursed spirits. However, this theory could also serve as a moment to showcase Gojo's godlike status, reinforcing why he's considered the strongest sorcerer in history. His rejection of Sukuna would solidify his dominance and provide a brief but impactful demonstration of his power. So that was our second theory. Now let's move on to our third and final theory. This is the most believable theory according to me. As per this theory, if Gojo consumes Sukuna's fingers, he could suppress Sukuna, but not without consequences. Gojo's immense power and mastery of cursed energy would likely allow him to suppress Sukuna far more effectively than Yuji. However, suppressing Sukuna doesn't mean eliminating his influence entirely. Sukuna is not just raw cursed energy, he's cunning, manipulative, and an ancient king of curses with centuries of knowledge. This dynamic would create an intense internal struggle within Gojo, potentially leading to changes in his personality, powers, and even the story itself. First of all, let's understand why Gojo could suppress Sukuna. Gojo is the most powerful sorcerer in the Jujutsu universe. His 6 eyes grant him unmatched control over cursed energy, and his limitless technique gives him abilities like Infinity, which can block any external attack. With this level of mastery, Gojo could suppress Sukuna's cursed energy to an extent Yuji never could. Yuji's ability to host Sukuna relies on his resilience and compatibility, but he lacks the skills to actively suppress Sukuna. In contrast, Gojo's immense reserves of cursed energy and control over it would act like a cage, keeping Sukuna's influence locked away. Gojo's body might also naturally overpower Sukuna's attempts to take control, as his cursed energy is leagues beyond what Sukuna is used to dealing with within a vessel. But there is a twist. Even if Gojo suppresses Sukuna, the King of Curses is far too powerful and intelligent to be completely silenced. Sukuna might not be able to take over Gojo's body as easily as he does with Yuji, but his presence would still be felt. Sukuna could influence Gojo in subtle ways, whispering manipulative thoughts, planting seeds of doubt, or tempting him with the idea of combining their powers. While Gojo is strong-willed, he isn't invincible to mental strain. Over time, the constant presence of Sukuna could begin to wear him down, creating cracks in his usually confident and composed personality. In the manga, Sukuna has shown a knack for exploiting vulnerabilities. For example, during the Shibuya incident, Sukuna took advantage of Yuji's despair and used it to manipulate events in his favor. If Gojo were to face similar moments of emotional or physical strain, Sukuna might seize the opportunity to exert more influence. Gojo's personality is a big part of his appeal. He's confident, borderline arrogant, and often playful, but he also carries a deep sense of responsibility for protecting the Jujutsu world. Sukuna's presence could change that. Imagine Gojo becoming more ruthless, his actions driven by Sukuna's lingering influence. He might adopt a more aggressive approach to fighting curses, prioritizing power over strategy or compassion. This shift would make sense, as Sukuna thrives on destruction and could subtly push Gojo in that direction. On the other hand, Gojo might develop a darker, more introspective side. Carrying Sukuna's essence would be a constant reminder of the threat he poses, not just to himself, but to those around him. This could lead to moments of self-doubt or isolation, as Gojo grapples with the weight of being both the strongest sorcerer and a potential vessel for the King of Curses. The fusion of Gojo's and Sukuna's abilities could create fascinating new dynamics. Gojo's cursed energy control might allow him to tap into Sukuna's immense power without fully succumbing to his influence. This would make Gojo even stronger, potentially giving him access to abilities like Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine or his slicing techniques. However, using Sukuna's powers might come at a cost. Every time Gojo draws on Sukuna's energy, he risks giving the King of Curses more control. Overusing this power could blur the line between Gojo and Sukuna, making it harder for Gojo to suppress him over time. This dynamic could create a thrilling tension in the story. Gojo might find himself in situations where he has to decide whether to use Sukuna's power to save lives, knowing that it could bring him closer to losing control. One of the most compelling aspects of this theory is the internal conflict it would create within Gojo. Gojo's confidence has always been his defining trait, but with Sukuna constantly in his mind, that confidence could be shaken. This internal struggle would show a side of Gojo we've never seen before. Vulnerable, conflicted, and unsure. The strongest sorcerer alive would have to face not just external enemies, but also the enemy within. This could mirror Yuji's struggle with Sukuna, but on a much larger scale. While Yuji fights to maintain his humanity, Gojo's battle would be about maintaining control over his power and identity. The stakes would be higher because if Gojo ever lost to Sukuna, the consequences would be catastrophic. If Gojo became Sukuna's vessel, the story would take a darker turn. Gojo, who's often the safety net for other characters, would now become a potential threat. His students like Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara might have to step up to support him, or worse, confront him if Sukuna's influence grows too strong. And there you have it, 3 fascinating scenarios exploring what might happen if Gojo ate Sukuna's fingers. Each theory dives into how the story, the characters, and the world of Jujutsu Kaisen could change in unpredictable ways. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more theories like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow anime fans, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into your favorite shows. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!